So the debate process, the presidential debates are completely corrupted. And watch our other videos and they'll tell you why. Right now, well, the short version is the debates are run not by a third party or by journalists or by the League of Women Voters. It's run by the campaigns themselves. So they get to write all the rules that make them look as good as they want. In fact, what's one of the new rules? Here's the debate. What's her name?
Janet Brown, Executive Director of the Commission on Presidential Debates.
So here she is, and she's on one of our favorite shows, Reliable Sources. Let's remember that the previous host of this show, Reliable Sources, which is a media watchdog show, Reliable Sources, the previous host, Harwood Kurtz, had to resign because he filed too many stories that were unreliable. And he was immediately punished, as only you can be punished in the news media, by a high-paying job at Fox News. That's a big punishment. Big punishment. So here she is, and there's been some talk about everybody got upset at Candy Crowley 4 years ago because she fact-checked Mitt Romney right in the middle of the debate. Isn't it? And everybody was like, what a breath of fresh air to see finally a reporter calls out a liar when they're lying, right? Especially now with Donald Trump. The guy lies 3 times in one sentence, and he has 2 lies in one sentence that'll contradict each other. So it's really incumbent on the journalists who are moderating this that they're going to fact-check these guys, right? And so here's what
Trump lies between his lies.
Yes. So here's what she has, the chairperson of the debate commission. Here's what she says about fact checking. It's pretty exciting. Watch.
I think personally, if you start getting into fact checking, I'm not sure what is a big fact, what's a little fact. And if you and I have different sources of information, does your source about the unemployment rate agree with my source? I don't think it's a good idea to get the moderator into essentially serving as the Encyclopedia Britannica.
So let's just take that one thing, one thing at a time. Mark, would you want to say something?
Oh, well, let's not be ambitious. Let's start with the little facts. Then we can work ourselves up to the middle-sized facts. Let's start with baby steps.
I say we start at the big facts. We start at big facts, like, what is the unemployment number? I don't know. There's an office inside the government that gives the official number. So at least maybe one of the news people could say, well, here's the official number. And then the candidate could debate it. But the candidate can't come out and say, well, the official unemployment number is 100.
Well, Donald Trump with his small hands can't get a handle on the facts.
Do you see the difference? Let's go through that. So that's what's out. So now we're going to have 2 people on stage lying, and we're going to have the best journalists that TV has to offer, which is not good. Going to sit there. You might as well just get Ryan Seacrest to host this thing. Why would you? Why not have Chuck Woolery and Ryan Seacrest host the debates? If you're not going to fact check people and you don't really need to know anything about anything to host these things, why not get Ryan Seacrest? I like Ryan Seacrest. He does a great job. I'd like to see him more than whoever is these guys who are going to be not fact checking. If you're going to not fact check, I say we get Jimmy Kimmel and Ryan Seacrest. That would be great. Or maybe the late night host could take turns.
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon could ask questions, and then they could do beer pong.
They could do beer pong, and that in between questions,
kids would tune in.
The kids would tune in. This is what this is all about. So let's listen to what she says again.
I think personally, if you start getting into fact checking, I'm not sure what is a big fact, what's a little fact.
So if you're not sure, maybe you need to quit and resign and get someone else who's sure. If a journalist that's the whole point of having journalists, is that so they can present facts to you. And if someone presents an incorrect fact on your news channel, it's your duty to correct it. That's why Fox News, they don't do that. In fact, they're the ones who broadcast incorrect facts, which is why when it's been proven that if you watch Fox News, the more you watch it, the less you know. So that's not a news show. They're not informing you. They're doing propaganda, which is what these debates are now. They're propaganda. They're not informing us. They're giving us...
Well, Jimmy, our culture is drowning in lies. Brian Williams told me that. Well, this is like your constant media complaint. Well, Jimmy, this goes to the heart of your media criticism, which is one candidate says they're telling the truth. The other candidate says they're telling the truth. Which one is telling the truth? I guess we'll never know.
That's how they that's why the American people half the country thinks climate change is a hoax because of the way they that's what this is. Well, so what used to happen in America is that the news people used to investigate corporations and government officials and make sure they didn't get too cozy and there wasn't corruption. Right? So the guys in the corporation, AKA the criminals, got smart and they just bought the news agencies, right? So now the people they're supposed to be investigating own them. So now what, if you've not noticed over the last 30, 40 years, is news journalists they're not objective anymore. They always love to say, I'm neutral. And this is example, I'm neutral. Well, is he lying? Is they lying? I'm neutral. I don't know. Objectively, you could go, that's a lie. Objectively, if someone gives the wrong unemployment number, you can go, well, the official unemployment number is that, so your number was incorrect. If you want to dispute the official number, that's another fact. That's another story. You can do that. So that's objective. So just like climate change, right? So when Brian Williams brings on a senator who doesn't believe in climate change and then a scientist who does, and at the end of their discussion, Brian Williams goes, well, thanks for the debate. I guess we'll never know. You couldn't report the sports that way. You couldn't say, hey, the Cubs played the Dodgers yesterday. Dodgers said they won 4-3. Cubs said they won 4-3. Who really won? I guess we'll never know. But I'm glad we had the debate. So that's what they're doing with the debates now. So they're just a propaganda machine for the money, which owns both parties. That's all this is propaganda. You're not going to hear anything that Jill Stein would have brought up. You're not going to hear anything you're just not going to hear it. It's not going to be brought up. And when someone lies about it, they're not going to fact check her. So again,
I think fact checking it's about the lack of resources. I don't think these multi-billion-dollar corporations that control our media with thousands of employees, I don't think have the resources to do the fact checking.
Yes, it's not that they can't fact check. It's not actually that they can't tell the difference between a little one and a big one and who's so. That's not it. What's it is that they don't want to do it, and so they had to figure out a reason to not do it. So that's it. This is it. This is the reason. And so not only is the political parties corrupt, but even the debates are corrupt. The news people are corrupted who are supposed to be investigating both of them. It's like George Carlin said, it's a big party and you ain't in it, right? So that's what this is. And it's got nothing to do with us and we're not going to get information. And so you wonder why half the country doesn't vote. You wonder why people like me aren't going to vote for one of the two major parties. This is why. This is why, and everybody accepts it. We have a completely corrupt culture right now, okay? And so we do need a revolution. And the one guy who came along and the people were ready for him, they cheated him out of it. And for some reason or another, that guy decided to walk away from his moment in time, Bernie Sanders I'm talking about, and try to get people who are all about getting corruption out of politics and try to get us to support corruption in politics. And that just doesn't work. But this is what we're left with. And this guy at CNN, he's going to just treat her like, okay, that sounds like a good idea.